Hi guys, and welcome to day 6. We are almost halfway through this 14-day challenge, and I hope you guys are feeling good. Definitely feeling parts of my body from everything that we've been doing. Today we are going to do 30 minutes of different plank exercises. So a little bit of focus on the arms, but obviously because we're doing plank exercises, there's going to be quite a bit of core work. And it's important whenever we're doing our planks to make sure we've got the right engagement. You'll notice that sometimes when you really engage your inner thighs or your glutes when you're holding planks or certain plank variations, it actually takes some of the weight out of the arms. It's amazing how much easier postures become when we find the right engagement in them. Another thing that I really wanted to share before we get started is something that I recently saw an explanation of, and now that I've seen that explanation, it makes a lot of sense to me, and I want to explain it to you as well. So sometimes what you'll often hear in yoga class is teachers talking about either the wrapping of your triceps, so that's this kind of movement, or external rotation of the shoulders. It's the same thing essentially. It's drawing the armpits in towards one another, opening up through the shoulder space. And you'll find that in any of the postures, with your arms overhead, but it's also incredibly important for our arm balances, for our inversions, and for when we're holding things like plank. Because what it does is it helps with our shoulder stability. So external rotation, when your hands are on the ground, it's that sensation of opening a cap out to the side without moving your hands. So it's a similar sensation as energetically squeezing the forearms in towards one another, of wrapping your triceps, of opening the shoulders. So if you come into a tabletop position just very quickly, I want you to see what that feels like. So that sensation of the elbows pointing, the eye of your elbow pointing backwards, of your triceps wrapping, of that external rotation in the shoulders, and try to maintain that when you are in your plank position, when you're in your side plank position. So it really helps to stabilize the shoulders. And a lot of what we're doing, it's also firing up our serratus anterior muscles, which are, again, great shoulder stabilizers. So just a little tidbit of wisdom before we get started. Let's get started in a downward facing dog. So just take a moment in your down dog to get comfortable. Feet hip distance, hands at least shoulder distance, maybe pedaling out the feet, bending one knee, bending the other. You can sway the hips, shake out the head, reminding yourself to always move in a way that works for you. So our practice is a very personal one, and only we know what works and feels right within our own body. So always remember, I'm here to guide you, but I'm trusting you to listen to what works. We're going to start off with some plank walkouts. So very simply, walking your hands towards your feet, slowly rolling yourself up to standing, and then reversing what you just did, chin to chest, rolling yourself back down, walking the hands forward, finding that strong plank position, pushing the ground away, and then walking the hands back, rolling yourself up. Let's do that a few more times. We roll ourselves down, walk forward, find that strong plank, walk the hands back, roll up. Roll yourself down, walk the hands forward, little cracks here and there. Walk the hands back, roll up. Let's do that one more time. Roll down, plank position, crack, crack. Walk the hands back, roll up. And then walk the hands forward, come into your plank position. Hold your plank position. So, again, finding that engagement. Fingers spread nice and wide, crease of the wrist is pointing forward, push the ground away. So we are rounding out through the upper back, hollowing through the front body, externally rotating through the shoulders, wrapping those triceps, squeezing the inner thighs, pushing the heels back, engaging the glutes. Taking one more breath here, and then slowly lower your knees to the ground. You can stick the bum out for a second as I talk you through this one. So this is an exercise that I recently did in one of my animal flow classes, and it's definitely become a favorite of mine. We're gonna do it with our knees down just because we have 30 minutes where we're gonna be doing different plank variations, and I want you to be able to move your arms by the end of it. But there is always the option for you to do this in a full plank position. I will not. So if you want to look at me very quickly just so you know where it is that I'm going, I want you to come into a plank but with your knees down. So we're going to be working on our push-ups. So really hugging the belly in. Again, finding that same engagement that you'd have in a normal plank. We're going to bend the elbows. Make sure as you bend the elbows that the hips are lowering too, that you're not sort of here, but that you're creating a nice diagonal line. As you push yourself back up, we're going to turn to the right-hand side. You're going to slide your right foot out, and you're going to come into an assisted side plank. So assisted side plank, we're still keeping that engagement in the right arm, lifting up through the hips. You're going to crunch elbow to knee as you lower your hip down to the floor, and then push yourself back up. Bring the hands down, and we're going to do the other side. Bend the elbows, lift up, turn to the left, find your assisted side plank, crunch elbow to knee as you lower the hips. So hips have got to lower. Lift yourself back up, back into that plank. All right, guys, we're going to move a little bit faster, so come with me. We're going to bend the elbows, lift up into that assisted side plank. Make sure that right hip lowers to touch the floor as you crunch the left elbow to knee. Lengthen as you lift up. Bring it back into your plank. Bend the elbows, left side, lift it up, lower the hips, crunch elbow to knee, back up, plank position. Let's keep going. Bend the elbows, side plank, lower the hips and crunch, lift up, plank, bend the elbows, left side, we crunch, lift up, plank, right side, lower the hips, crunch, lift, plank, left side, lower the hips, and back. All right, come into a child's pose. Take a moment here. Lengthen out through the arms. If you'd like a different shoulder stretch, you can keep the knees together. Reach the arms back, forehead on the ground, and just slow it down. So again, these can be pretty strong exercises, which doing consistently for 30 minutes, I'm not gonna lie, your arms are gonna be a little bit sore, but they're really great exercises for building up that arm strength, especially as you work towards things like arm balances and inversions. It is imperative that you have strong shoulders, strong arms to support you in that journey. So from your child's pose, make your way forward once again. We're gonna tuck the toes and lift the knees this time. I want you to walk your feet mat distance apart so that we have hip stability. Draw the belly in. Now this is challenging. If you're like, you know what, I wanna keep the knees down and work towards lifting them up. But I feel like you've got this one. Now our goal here is that we're gonna tap right hand to left shoulder, tap left hand to right without moving our hips. So that's going to be your challenge. As you lift the right hand, you're pressing into the right foot. As you lift the left hand, you're pressing into the left foot. Keep going until I tell you to stop. Try to keep that pelvis nice and stable. I'm not going to lie, my whole body's shaking right now. But we continue because we've got this. Beautiful, guys. One more round each side. Lower the knees. Take that child's pose again. Just for a second, walk your hands to your knees and let's sit on our shins. I think as we move through this, we're all going to feel like we need a nice little stretch. So just take your arms back behind you. See if you can draw the palms towards one another. Open up through the heart space and then start to lift the arms a little higher. Get a stretch into the arms. Beautiful, guys. Taking one more breath here. And slowly releasing, maybe just swinging the arms one over the other. All right, to take it off our wrists, because my wrists are already feeling it a little bit and we haven't really done any wrist warm-ups, our next exercise is going to be on our forearms. And it's a little bit of an obliques exercise. So you can interlace your fingers if you prefer, or you can bring your palms facing down onto the ground. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, find your plank position, and then from here, push the ground away. So really round out through the upper back, hollow through the front body, squeeze the inner thighs. We're going to take our feet, our heels to the right, lower your right hip to the floor, come back to center, and then do the other side. So try to keep those shoulders nice and strong. Keep the shoulders over the elbows as you move from side to side. It's hard, that shoulder wants to squeeze forward. Try to maintain some degree of alignment here. I find this so hard. Keep going. I'm going to do one more round. Either side. Lower the knees. Bring it back again. We're going to lift ourselves up. This time, bring your right arm across your body, left hand over your elbow, and just give yourself a nice little stretch. So move the shoulders around to find sort of that point where you really feel the stretch. So for me, it's bringing the shoulder down, squeezing the left hand in, and then trying to pull my shoulder back. That really gets the stretch here. And then we change sides, left side. So same thing again, I feel like pressing the right hand back, dropping the left shoulder, and then pulling the left shoulder backwards. Really gets a nice stretch where we are. While we're here, bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, bring your hands over to the right hand side, and then bring your right ear to your right shoulder. Just give your neck a nice little stretch. One of my all-time favorite stretches. Taking one more breath. Slowly coming back to center, bringing the hands to the other side, left ear to left shoulder, drop the right shoulder down. Beautiful. All right, coming back through center. This next exercise is something I did in one of my HIIT classes. Again, some of you might feel like, wow, that's actually pretty intense, pretty full on. Take it as far as you can go. Challenge yourself, play with it. But this is just to give you ideas for different types of plank exercises that are available to you. I'm going to try one version first, and then I'm going to kind of give you like the version on steroids, which is still fun. I'm sure you guys are like, oh God. Okay, find your plank position. And here is the challenge. So step number one is we shift our weight into our left hand, reach your right arm overhead. Maybe this is as far as you go and that's fine. Maybe you start to float that left foot off the ground for 3, for 2. Lower right hand, lower left foot, other side. Maybe start with the left hand and then lift the right foot for 3, for 2, and back. Let's do that one more time. Right arm, left foot, 3, 2, 1. We change. Left arm, right foot, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees for a moment. Take a child's pose if you need to, or lower your hips towards your heels. Regroup, find your breath. Maybe while you're resting, I'll talk us through the next thing that we're gonna do. So again, this is the one that I did in our HIIT class. Feel free to join me now or watch and join me once you've seen what we're about to do. Find your plank position. Now, same thing again, but keep your left foot on the ground for this one initially. Right arm is going to reach out in front of you. Right hand is going to come to your left shoulder. You're going to press back for a moment into a one-armed down dog, and then shift the weight forward once again. Option to stay here. Option to try to bring that left knee to your left elbow. It's hard. Bring the left foot back, right hand down. Whew! Any part of that you want to try, please feel free to. Left side, left arm reaches,
left hand to right shoulder. We press ourselves back into a one-armed down dog. Come back into a one-armed plank. Shift the weight, lift the right foot, right knee to right elbow. Bring it back, release the left hand. All right, let's take a break. If you didn't join me, we're gonna do that again. Again, I know it feels like pretty intense. That's tough stuff. It's really intense on the core, very intense on the shoulders, a lot of balance. Try to get your head out of the way and just challenge yourself to give this a try. Obviously, if anything feels painful, please stay away from it. But let's give this a go. Find that plank position, strong core, weight into the left hand, right arm reaches forward, right hand to left shoulder. Press yourself back into a downward facing dog. Now come forward and then bring your left knee to your left elbow. Find the balance. Bring that left knee back, release your right hand. Left arm reaches out. Left hand to right shoulder. Push yourself back into a one-armed down dog. Come forward into a one-armed plank. Right knee to right elbow. And then slowly bring it back. Release, knees to the ground. Take a break. All right, hopefully if you tried it both rounds, maybe it's starting to feel a little more familiar. You're starting to feel what is required to balance the body out. So we're gonna do it one last time, just to really drive it home. Again, any modifications, variations are totally awesome. Listen to your body and go as far as feels right for you. So find that plank position. One last time. Right arm reaches forward. Right hand to left shoulder. We press ourselves back into a one-arm down dog and then come forward into a one-arm plank. Find the balance, left knee to left elbow. Really squeeze the heel in. Bring it back, right hand down. Left arm reaches out in front of you. Left hand to right shoulder. We press back into a one-arm down dog. Come forward into a one-armed plank. Right knee in towards that right elbow. Bring it back. Left hand down. Lower the knees. Take your child's pose. Well done, guys. Believe it or not, we're almost 18 minutes into just doing plank exercises. Now, again, that was a lot on our wrists. We're gonna take it back onto our forearms and continue to work our obliques, which naturally, by being on our forearms, we're also working our shoulders. So take one more breath where you are. Then make your way forward. We're gonna start with the right side. So drop your right forearm onto the ground, facing the left side of your mat. Come onto the outer edge of your right foot, left foot on top of the right. Squeeze your inner thighs, push the hips forward, lift the hips a little higher. Reach the left arm up to the sky, and then bring your left hand behind your head. Really make sure you've got that external rotation. You're protecting through the shoulders. We're gonna take an inhale, and then crunch left elbow to right, and inhale it up. For 9, and up. For 8, and up. 7, up. 6, up. 5. Last 4. You've got this. 3. Final 2. Last 1. Drop your hips. Well done, guys. All right. Since we're on the right side, let's use this as an opportunity to stretch. So come into your tabletop position. Float your right arm up towards the sky and then thread that right arm underneath your left, bringing your right ear and right shoulder to the ground. Option to wrap your left arm behind you, grabbing onto your right thigh. I want you to fully press into the back of your right hand and then pull your right shoulder backwards. Then work on drawing your right hip towards the right hand side. Give yourself a nice full twist. Beautiful. Take one more breath here. Awesome, guys. Release the left hand down. Reach the right arm back up to the sky. Give yourself that lovely twist and opening. All right, left hand side. We're gonna drop our left forearm onto the mat. Outer edge of your left foot, right foot on top of left. We are going to squeeze inner thighs, push the hips forward, lift the hips, externally rotate through the shoulder, right arm up to the sky. Bring your right hand behind your head, take an inhale. Exhale, crunch elbow to elbow, and lift. We continue for 9, open, 8, lift, for 7, for 6, you've got this, keep going, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the hips. Well done. Let's find our tabletop position. Left arm floats up to the sky as you inhale. Exhale, thread. Left arm under right, left ear to the ground. Right arm wraps behind you, grabbing onto your left thigh. Pull your left hip towards the left. Press into the back of your left arm and pull your left shoulder backwards. Open up through the right shoulder. Beautiful, guys. Lovely. Taking one more breath where you are. All right. Slowly release your right hand. Left arm floats up. And we release ourselves back down. All righty. We are reaching the end. I say we're reaching the end. We've still got a good 8 minutes to go. I'm going to give you guys one final exercise and then we'll really focus on some yummy shoulder stretches and openers. One of my favorite transitions to work with in practice. It is quite challenging. So again, please play with it and work within your range. I'm going to give you 2 options. Option 1, we're going to go from our plank position into a forearm, so dolphin into a forearm down dog. If you don't want to come onto your forearms, stay in your downward facing dog. Our goal here is that from our forearms, we're going to bring our right knee to our nose, lower the forearms, left knee to our nose. If you're just going down dog, maybe bend the knees and bring it forward. That's another option. All right, guys? This is pretty much, we might have room for one last thing to do, so give it your all. We're almost at the end. Take a breath where you are. All right, guys, we come forward into our plank position. Lower the forearms. Right knee to nose. Lower the forearms. Left knee to nose. Drop the forearms. Right knee. We lower. Left. And lower. Keep it going. Right. Lower. Left, lower, right, lower, left, lower. Let's do it 2 more times, either side. Lower, left, lower. Last one. Right, lower, left, lower. Bring it forward, lower the knees. All right, instead of taking child's pose, even though I was heading that way, I want you to bring your hips over your knees, walk the arms forward, and take puppy pose. Now, something that's important with this pose, especially as you're trying to open up the shoulders, is I'd like to make it a little more dynamic. So come onto the fingertips, elbows off the ground. Instead of dropping the belly to the floor, I want you to hug the belly and the ribs in and try to walk your fingers forward as your hips pull back and then melt your chest. So really finding a strong, deep shoulder opening here. Well done, guys. One more breath. All right. Walk the hands back. Sit back on your heels. Take a little moment to shake it out. All right, guys, that's it. It's the last 5 minutes. I'm going to give you one final arm exercise. I've got my husband here. What other ones did I forget? He's just kind of looking at me like, that was intense. All right, let's just play with some plank variations. I'm sure there was something else I wanted you guys to do. Well, okay, so there is one thing I want you guys to do, and this is going to be
Potentially something that I put into our animal flow, but I feel like it's a great one for us to finish with. So come into your downward facing dog. I want you to reach your right leg high to the sky. As you bring your right knee to your right forearm, I'd like you to try and walk your left hand forward and come into like a dodge, like a weird tiger pose, and then bring it back. So we're gonna do 5 on each side, all right? Right leg to the sky, right knee to right elbow, left hand forward and back. We come forward for 4 and back, forward for 3 and back, forward for 2 and back, forward for 1 and back. Release your right foot down, left leg to the sky. Same thing, right hand forward, left knee to left elbow and back. We continue, 5 and 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Release your left foot to the ground. Come forward into your plank pose. Hold your plank position for 5, 4, 3, 2. Lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. Cactus, your right arm, shift your weight to the right hand side. Keep your left hand exactly where it is. Bring your left foot behind you. So cactusing into that right arm, we're pressing into the ground with our right hand and our left hand. Right shoulder is pushing downwards. Left shoulder is opening. Beautiful, guys. You're doing absolutely fantastic. Taking one more breath here. Lovely. Slowly lower yourself down. Bring your right hand back next to your right chest. Left arm is going to cactus, so it's creating an L shape out of your arm. Drop that left shoulder, shift the weight to the left. Right foot taps behind you. So the left shoulder is pushing downwards. Right shoulder is pulling back. Lovely, guys. Taking one more breath here. Slowly bringing it back to center. Hands either side of your chest. Tuck the toes. Hips reach up and back. We're going to come high up onto the balls of the feet. Walk the hands forward. Find a rag doll at the top of the mat. This time bringing your hands behind your back. Reaching the arms up and over. So just enjoying a nice little forward fold, a nice deep shoulder stretch here. Maybe you sway, maybe you bend one knee, bend the other. Take one more breath where you are. And then slowly, woo! I knew I was going to knock one over at some point. Release your hands to the ground. Gently bend your knees, bring your hips all the way down, and rock onto your back. Give yourself a lovely deep stretch. And then there's an option to lie down here. You can maybe take the arms overhead, grabbing onto opposite elbows. And if you'd like to stay here for a little bit, the screen is going to go dark, giving you a few moments to lie where you are before the next video begins. Otherwise, feel free to continue with your day, with another practice, whatever it is that you're doing. I hope your arms aren't too sore tomorrow. I really did feel that. But congratulations for making it this far, for sticking with this, and I really hope to see you for day 7, the halfway mark. I feel like it's all uphill from here, right? Anyways, have an awesome, whatever it is, night, morning, midday, and see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Bye.